we're always looking for different artifacts because you just never know what you're going to find.
The George B. Vashon Museum is a hidden gem just outside of downtown St. Louis. The museum is devoted to preserving and showcasing African American history. On display are pieces pertaining to individuals with St. Louis roots and beyond. Its name came about in a rather unique way.
Because back in 2006, I was cleaning out a house on West Bell and we found the George Vashon artifact. We didn't know that was the Vashon family home.
According to Riley, the items he found inside the Vashon family home dated back hundreds of years. His find ended up being published in a local newspaper.
And once it's published, I received calls from all across the country. People wanted to purchase the Vashon artifacts. It was Overland University. Mr. Vashon was the first African-American graduate at Overland as a lawyer. The Smithsonian, and it was several collectors who wanted to buy the Vashon artifacts.
Another George B. Vashon namesake is Vashon High School, which opened in 1927. It was the second high school to open for black students in St. Louis. It is located only about 3 minutes from the museum.
I was going to sell them to the Smithsonian in Pittsburgh because the Vashon's family are from Pittsburgh. And then someone from the Mountain City Bar called me and said, "We hear you're going to sell the Vashon artifacts." And I said, "Yes." They said, "We think you should keep them in St. Louis because the Vashon family had done so much here around the turn of the century in St. Louis."
The museum contains artifacts from the 1700s through the 1960s. Riley has been collecting for more than 40 years. He estimates that he has between 200,000 and 300,000 artifacts at the museum.
We have original segregation signs here, and it's just people just because it gives them a sense that this really happened. Because young people they don't know that, and they see it, they say this really did happen. I said yes. I had to tell them that because they don't believe it.
For Riley, his wife, and his daughter, the museum and its artifacts are priceless.
A lot of the artifacts that are in here have been around long before we physically opened up the museum. And some of them were in our household at one point. It's something I want to continue to see go on and move forward, far beyond myself, Calvin. It's something that's necessary.
I think it's an incredible museum. I think you would need hours to see this museum. There's just so much stuff here, and I'm impressed with the efforts of Calvin Riley.
You might say the building that houses the museum is another precious artifact. The mansion was built in 1879 for prominent businessman James Meagher. At the time, this stretch of St. Louis Avenue was known as Millionaire's Row. On the day we visited the museum, members of the Professional Tour Guides Association of St. Louis were hosting a meeting in one of their parlors.
There's a very overwhelming feel of emotion in this room, in this building.
Reagan Andrew has lived in St. Louis for about 4 years, and today she's visiting the museum for the very first time.
This is a whole part of history that I don't want to say I'm ignorant. I just wasn't taught in our textbooks. It wasn't taught in the Pacific Northwest, Washington State, where I grew up. So this is a treasure.
It's something for everybody to understand and get a certain sense of perspective. Our history is our history, and obviously we've grown past a lot of the things that are in here today, but it's important as we continue to repair and rebuild our connection as humans to each other. It's definitely necessary for all backgrounds and races and ethnicities to be aware of our history that we share.